Good morning, everyone. My name is John Burris. I am the attorney representing the family in connection with the shooting death of Oscar Grant. I have interviewed a number of witnesses, young men who were present with him on that evening, some of whom you've seen in videos who were right next to him at the time. I've also viewed a number, at least 3 videos that occurred in and about the time the shooting took place. One is pretty clear as to when the shooting took place. And I will tell you in concluding that what the witnesses said happened and what is on the videotapes are very much the same. And from that you get a real clear picture of what happened. And from that you can easily determine that Mr. Grant was killed by this officer under circumstances that were woefully unjustified. It is without a doubt the most unconscionable shooting I have seen ever. And that Mr. Grant at the time he was shot and killed was in fact laying on his stomach with his back to 2 officers, with one officer kneeling down at his neck head area with the knee there, and the other officer straddling over him and standing in a bent position. When Mr. Grant's back was to him, he did not have a weapon, he was not kicking, he had been turned over, one officer was pulling on his arm, and the officer, for reasons that are the most shocking to me, pulled out his weapon and within moments fired it directly into the back of Mr. Grant. From my point of view, obviously, those appear to be the facts. There doesn't appear to be much dispute about that. Of course, we have not seen what the officer has to say. And so what I have concluded that I intend to very shortly, within a day or 2, and I have drafted a notice of claim. I've drafted a notice of claim on behalf of the mother and the child for $25 million. And I make that claim because this is the most egregious shooting I have ever seen. And that a price has to be paid, accountability has to occur. And that when you lose the life of a 22-year-old who is, by all accounts, when you look at all the people here, was a wonderful, decent young man. And he was just out with his friends on New Year's Eve. And at the time the police accosted him and accosted the others, the police had no information that they themselves had committed any particular crime itself. And I can assure you that there is no reasonably competent police officer looking at the facts as we see them, looking at the facts on the videotape, and looking at the facts that have been transmitted and communicated by the witnesses, would have believed that it was justifiable to use deadly force. In that sense, I do believe that the district attorney's office should seriously consider that. And I intend to write a letter to them this week requesting that they consider filing criminal charges against this particular officer for his misconduct and the manner in which he used that firearm in killing this young man at a time when it was woefully unjustified. And everything about Oscar certainly suggests and indicates that he was raised right, that he did all that you're supposed to do in order to have a good life, even though, you know, he's a young man and there are things that do happen, but he was raised right. And so his pain and loss of the community is a significant one, and certainly I'm here to vindicate that loss, because you cannot allow it to happen.
Oscar was my first nephew. He was my best man in my way. Oscar, I loved Oscar. He came to me many times, just saying, Uncle Bobby, teach me how to put on this football uniform. Uncle Bobby, you know, I want to run track, you know, so, you know, help me learn how to do this stuff, you know. Oscar was a very great kid. I love that nephew of mine. That night, the love that I had for Oscar, I texted him at 12:49. And in that text, I said, Happy New Year, I love you, and may God bless your family. And I wondered why Oscar didn't text me back, because he normally texts me back, or he'll call me. And then I found out why. You know, I'm angry. I'm in a lot of pain. I haven't slept well.